Hi there. In this lesson, we're going to look at percentages, what they are, and how to calculate them, specifically without a calculator to start with. So percentages is really important. They're found in a lot of different places. You'll see them in shops. If you go into a shop, the discounts are usually shown as a percentage. You'll see them in sporting events, possession of football, or in this case it's tennis, serves and winning and winners in the first serve and so on. A lot of money deals with percentages. If you go into banks, interest rates will be percentages. Um, and obviously test scores for you guys are really important. You usually get a percent to show you how well you're doing or not doing in that case. Okay, so the word percent means per hundred. That's the idea of it. If you think of cents from dollars, dollars in America are split into cents. There's 100 cents in a dollar. So cent is actually per like 100, and then you've got per in front of it, so per 100. So any percentage is split into 100 parts, and we use this symbol to represent it. We've got a line and two wee zeros either side of it, or two wee circles either side of it to represent percent. But whenever you think of percent, think of it split into 100 parts. So if you've got things like this, like possession, for example, in football, and say Chelsea were playing Barcelona and Chelsea had 58%, the total percentage has to make up to 100. It always does. So percentages always add to give 100 in this case. So the other side, Barcelona, if Chelsea had 58, they must have had 42%. And same, we've got attendance here. If there was 50% Barcelona fans, 17% kind of just general other fans, and you had to work out what Chelsea, these three things here should add up to 100 to get the total percent. So we've got 50 and 17, so that's 67, then Chelsea would be 33%. Now, what's quite important about percentages is to work them out, the easiest thing to do is to turn them into fractions. So what I've got here is, I've got a big kind of 100 square, and if you look at the first kind of simple example that usually people know, if you think of 50 out of 100, this is 50 out of 100 here, 50 boxes coloured, you can quite clearly see that that's half of the total. Of the total 100 boxes, I've coloured in half of them. So we can basically say that 50% is the same as a half, and then if we had to work out 50%, well, you could work out a half of the quantity. There's other main ones that we should know as well. If you know 50%, we quite like you to know 25%. So you can see 25% is 25 coloured out of 100, and hopefully you can see that's a quarter of the whole shape. 4 of these would make up the 100. So to work out 25%, you would just work out a quarter. It's really how many 25s go into 100. And then some other ones here, if we look at 75%, then that is 3 quarters, you can see here. So I've got 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters. So we see that's 75% is the same as 3 quarters. And there's a few other ones I want you to look at here. 20%. Well, how many 20s go into 100? It's not as easy, that one, but how many 20s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So 20% is just a fifth. So you could work out a fifth of something if you were to work out 20%. 10%. Well, that's 10 out of 100. How many of these would go into 100? Well, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's just a tenth. And I've got a few more up here that we'll have a look at. This is a bit of a strange one, 33 and a third. It's quite a common one though as well. 33 and a third. So there's 33 and a third. Now how many 33 and a thirds would fit in to make the whole thing coloured in? Well, 3 of them. So if you put 3 of these together, you would fill the whole 100 squares. So that's just a third. So it's a fancy way of writing a third of something. And then the last one I'm going to look at here is 66 and 2/3, which was double the last one. Now the last one was 33 and 1/3. This is double that, so this is 2/3. So that's just a fancy way of writing 2/3. Now, quite often what we like you to do is write some basic percentages as fractions, and we get you to do it in a wee table. So I would advise you to copy this wee table down into your jotters and make sure you try and learn it. Now the basic ones I'm going to kind of display under here. So we said 50%, we said that was a half. 25% was a quarter, and you're basically saying how many times does 50 go into 100? Oh, twice, so it's, there you go, so half. How many times does this go into 100? 4 times, so it's a quarter. How many times does this go into 100? Well, 5. How many times does this go into 100? That would be a tenth. And then 5%, well, how many times does 5 go into 100? It would be 20, wouldn't it? So you could write it as a 20th. These kind of funny ones we did. So we've got 33 and a third percent. How many times does that go into 100? 3. So it's a third. And this one is basically double of that one. If you double this, you get to that. So double a third is 2/3. It's kind of similar with the 75%. If you look at the quarter, which is 25%, 3 25s make up to 75. So this is just 3/4. Now that idea kind of translates here as well. If we know that 10% is a tenth, then we can work out what 30% is, because it's 3 lots of tenths, isn't it? Three 10% make up 30, so that would be just 3 tenths. And it's the same with 60%. That's just 6 lots of this, so that'd be 6 tenths. Okay, in the next lesson we'll actually look at how to actually calculate some of these values.